Hi, everyone. Carmel Sullivan here, Heart to Heart Medium. I am so excited because I'll be sharing stage with Scott Allan, and he is the Boston medium. He has so much background in death, and I want him to explain that. But he is so much fun to be around, and he's great to read with. And it's a person he brings in the energy of life and humor and death.
Sounds
And
like a fun
so
date,
I
doesn't
will,
it?
pardon?
Sounds like a fun date. He has lots of experience with death. Just what somebody wants to hear before they swipe left or right or whatever.
Well, so here's Scott. Scott's on my call with me on our
Yeah.
podcast today, and um, Scott, I welcome you. I'm
Thank you.
so excited to be working with you. Scott is coming out on November 6th. We'll be at the Antlers in Colorado Springs. It'll be a larger show. We have premier seating for the people who want front row and more, and there'll be a meet and greet for the premier members. And I really wanted you people to understand. You people, I can't believe I said that. I want people to understand that Scott's energy and why I'm so excited because I really am trying to open the doors. He's a back east medium. He's on the East Coast, going back and forth, doing a lot of dinner shows and TV shows and paranormal things. And so, with that, welcome, Scott. I'm so excited for you to be here.
Thank you.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this world of mediumship?
Yeah, well, it is true. I was a funeral director for, oh God, like 35 years or more. I mean, I started working in the funeral home when I was 16. So that is my background. But, I always say over the years, thousands, really thousands of dead people, not one of them talked to me until I got out. And then when I sold the business, it was like all bets were off. It was as if spirit said, "Okay, it's time. Wake up. Wake up."
Well, let me ask you a question on that. Why do you think it wasn't till after you sold the business? What's your theory on it?
I don't really know if I have one. I think I was kind of shut down, maybe just too ingrained in my work and what I needed to do. And I would say maybe 5 to 10 years before I got out, I started to notice that the funeral home was haunted. Now that's really odd because it hadn't been haunted before, but I noticed that I was detecting smells and people walking up and down the stairs. And it wasn't enough that I thought anybody would even notice it. If you came in for calling hours, the place is busy and, whatever, we would notice it. But
Mhm.
for me, I spent a lot of time there alone in the office and doing paperwork, and I would just hear it. And I thought, that's really odd. Like, why all of a sudden?
Do you think it was protection for yourself? Because here you are working with the dead, and the conditioning is, little bit of, the dead is scary. And maybe you just had protection up. And once you
Mm.
got out, you
That
became,
was it. The dead weren't scary to me. The people were scary. The live ones are frightening. The dead ones,
I would agree with
never
that
had one bother
sometimes.
me yet. But I do feel like it was just a left brain kind of cerebral. Like,
Okay.
it's just silly. I mean, I can't be doing this, you know, they would have laughed me out of town. I mean, you do not talk to dead people. You join the Lions Club, and there were specific rules about what you do, and that was not one of them. But I didn't even give it a thought. But I'll tell you a funny story. I had gone my mother used to love this stuff, and she used to watch Sylvia Browne on Montel Williams way back in the days,
Mm,
80s or 90s,
yeah.
whatever it was, and she was coming to Boston, and she said, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take you," because she didn't like to drive in the city. So picked her up. We went into the city. We had nice seats right up near the front. And Sylvia Brown walks out and she walks through the audience like this. She's talking to everybody like this, like 'cause she smoked cigarettes, I guess. I don't know. But she had this big raspy voice. And she looks at me and she says, "Oh, you're psychic." And my mother laughed.
Oh.
And I looked at her and I said, "And she's psycho because there's no chance that like not even close. It was not even it was not even a thought, honestly, not even a thought.
I
But I
love
was
that.
fascinated by it. I mean, I believed that people could do it. I don't know to what extent, but I didn't think it was me. Even when I had all of this stuff happening, I did not think it was me.
I always find it interesting how we can deny our gifts. I was told 4 to 5 times I was a healer, and, I had so many weird things happen, which I, of course, explained away with normality, but none of it was normal. So I feel like you were the same way, and you were not supposed to open up till you were later in life. It's what I feel like. Um, so when did you finally what pushed you into the field of mediumship? What finally made you go, "Okay, thank you. I'll do this work."
Well, I'll tell you, when I got out, I my parents already had some health issues at that point. I really wanted to be closer to them because my funeral homes were a fair amount away, and I was tired of missing Christmas and birthdays and Mother's Day and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I moved close. I was like 5 minutes down the road. And an old family friend, she used to work for MIT. I mean, she was an intelligent woman, but she was retired and newly retired. So she was like, what, 65, 66 at the time. And she, was looking for things to do. She's, well, if you want to come, we're going over to, so there's a city of Revere, which is right on the ocean. And
Mhm.
evidently there's a building there that is a historical museum. It used to be a church rectory, and they tore the church down and they rebuilt it down the street. So she says, "Do you want to go? We're getting together with a few people, and they say the place is haunted, and we're going to see what happens." And I thought, "You like you're going to go ghost hunting? This big, kind of large lady. I mean, no offense, but she's not what you think of. This older, retired. You know what I mean?
MIT left
MIT, right?" And
sided brain thinker.
so I thought, really? Like I just hadn't really even. But then I started thinking, well, with all that stuff that happened to me at the funeral home, maybe I would experience it again and I could find out what other people think. We could talk about it a little bit.
Mhm.
So I said, all right, I'll go. And worst case scenario, if she's a little older and has a bad knee, if as long as I can get out of the building before she does, there's really not a problem. It all depends on how fast you can run. So I said, all right, I'll go. But the funny thing was it was like watching paint dry. Truly was like watching paint dry. And there was nothing. We had pizza, we hung around. There was like nothing. And they used, what a spirit box is, right? Where it like scans
Right.
it. It's like well, and actually I can probably play this for people if you're interested, because I actually have it.
Ooh.
So I got home, and I'm gonna talk to you while I'm looking here. But I got home and there I had recorded it, just because I said, well, what can I do? What can I bring? They said, just bring a recorder, so I recorded it.
Mhm.
And when I did, you can hear them say, um, "Do you know anybody's name here?" And then they all started saying my name. It was over and over and over. That was the first moment, and I thought, "That is so cool. Like, what is that?" Why are they doing that? And I'm gonna play the video. Just pulled it up here, so give me a moment. I just wanna make sure I
I love that. They're all chanting your name to, "Come on, Scott, come come
this
into
is
the picture here."
I'm gonna play it for you. Give me a second. So this is here we are in the back of this what used to be church rectory where the priest bedrooms used to be. And do you know anybody's name here? And we never heard it live. I only heard it on my recording. My name's It was
How many
I don't
how
know.
many voices? How
It
many
was
voices?
8, 10. I don't know. It was just over and over and over.
Now,
And
you didn't get creeped out by that?
yeah, it did. But I thought it was kind of cool. At the time, I said, "Oh, this is really cool." So, so I called her up. It was like 11:30 at night. She says, "Why are you calling me at this hour?" I said, "Because check this out." She says, "Oh, that is really strange." She says, "I've had them say my name like once, but not like that. I mean, I've never heard them calling my name out like that."
Mm.
And that was the first sign, but it wasn't like, "Oh, they called my name. I must be immediate." No, it wasn't that at all. I just thought it was just weird. You know what I mean? It was just weird. And then after that, it really started to pick up and escalate. And there was one thing after another, after another. It was over and over and over again. It was crazy.
So, what made you finally like, did you start taking classes in mediumship? Did you just
Not yet.
understand? What there's still I feel there's something that happened to you
Yeah.
that finally said
Well,
broke the straw of the camel's back that
well,
made you
yeah,
finally
and that
step
was
in.
about 2 years later, but right after that, I would say within a month maybe, of that happening, I decided I'm going to go on a couple more with them, but I want to have something more than just like a recorder. So I bought one of those spirit boxes. So I was home, I turned it on, plugged the batteries in, but I just wanted to see if it worked. And I got talk to Scott right off the bat.
What did we call this, bro? I'm Scott. I'm Scott. What is your name? I'm Scott.
David. And then
Wow.
it began. And then it began. And then a week later, a friend of mine has had her hair salon working. She was a school teacher, but she worked at nights, a couple of nights a week, just for extra money, I guess. And some man walks in and asks for me. And she says, well, that's, he's not here. I can certainly leave him a message. And and so she texts me. She says, by the way, somebody came and asked for you. He said to tell you that David stopped by. And
Wow.
I said, David? Like, but I wasn't thinking of what had come
You
through.
weren't thinking of the
My
box.
brain still wasn't there. I was like, David, like, I don't know anybody named David. So she sends me the, what do you call it? The camera, the like the Ring doorbell kind of thing, security camera.
Right, the video,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the
video.
video footage.
And there is this guy, and I can see him and hear him, and he walks in. He's tall, all dressed like in black jeans, black shirt, bald, asks for me, and can you tell him I stopped by, and leaves. He never came back. He never called again. I haven't, but it bothered me, not on a paranormal level. It bothered me because, like, who is this dude that I don't know showing
Who
up at
wants to talk
my
to
friend's
me?
work?
Yeah.
Who's showing up at my friend's work that knew enough to go there? You know what I mean? I mean, it was just really
Yes.
bizarre. It was bizarre. And then after that, it was David all the time. I remember going with my son to the donut shop. Now, Nicholas was really little, and I was taking him for a donut like on a Sunday. And I was sitting in the car, and when you change the channel, like you go from one to another, like a commercial comes on, you hit scan,
Right,
and
right.
I heard real quickly, Scott. I thought, no, I didn't hear that. Right? You're like thinking to yourself. So I pull out my recorder, which I had started to keep with me for just such an emergency. And so I did. I pulled it out, and this was a woman this time.
Can you tell me your name?
It's back. David's
David's back.
David's
David's
back.
back?
David's back. And David, for 2 years, was everywhere. He was in my car, in my house. We would hear his voice. I was with my cousin one day. We were alone, and the voice came through in the room clairaudiently. And
Oh, I've had that happen.
she went like this. And I said, did you hear that? She says, yeah, I did. I'm like, oh my God, welcome to my world. Well, let me tell you what's going on. Because I hadn't really told anybody. You go through this whole thing where you're starting to feel like, okay, is this
Yeah.
schizophrenia? Like, what is this? Right? Is it
I
mental?
I so get that too.
And I was not telling a soul, which is why I kept the recorder with me all the time. Because I thought, well, if I can hear it and you can hear it,
I
then
won't be crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm just possessed. And that wasn't necessarily a good option either. So
No.
we just, none of these were good options. And I remember somebody said to me, we were somewhere, like I was in Vermont, and he came through in Vermont. I mean, he was like literally everywhere. And somebody said to me, I don't think it's the building. Like, cause I was like, why is every place I go haunted? That's where my mind was. And well, I don't think it's the place. I think it's you. I thought, oh, I don't know. That's not a good feeling. The straw that broke the camel's back, literally. We were I had gone to this tour of this beautiful Victorian home. Now, when I had my funeral homes, I lived down the street from it, and it was like it should have been condemned. It was an old furniture maker's mansion, and he just
Mm,
disrepair. It was just awful. But I always wonder what it's like inside. You know what I mean? I'd love to go inside and see
yeah.
it, like, but of course I never did. And so somebody bought it and they restored it to like over $1 million. And it just sold again, actually, just last week. But it's like over $1 million. And so they were giving tours. And so I said, "Oh my God, I've got to go." So I called my friend, the one that worked for MIT, and I said, "Let's go. You want to go with me?" She's like, "Yeah, I'll go." So we went up and we're sitting in this room. It's the ladies' parlor. There's like 12 people. They're telling us about the house and whatever else they're telling us about. And some woman in the room decides she's going to refresh her perfume. And I'm like, "Oh
Oh,
my God, like, why would you do that in here?" Right? Like, you know, I mean, I
right.
didn't mind a
This
nice scent,
yeah.
but it was just a small room. And generally, like, I don't even get headaches when I go into like Yankee Candle. Like, I like a nice scent and I can take it for a little while, but this was so like thick and strong, I was like getting a headache. So I said to my friend, I said, "I'm gonna run outside and just get some fresh air for a few minutes. It's almost lunchtime anyway." She says, "Why, you okay?" I said, "I just can't breathe." I said, "That smell's giving me a headache." She says, "What smell?" "I don't smell anything." I said, "You
Mm.
smell anything?" "No, nothing." So the woman next to me on the other side says, "Do you smell whatever, something?" And I said, "I do." She says, "Oh, Ellen Pierce supposedly haunts this place, and she's been known to give her scent to people who can sense her." And I thought,
Oh.
why can't I sense her? What? Like, I'm still like dumb as a stump, right? I'm still like, what are you? I don't know. You know, I might be crazy, but I'm not psychic. So
Deny, deny,
deny,
deny
deny,
still.
deny. But that day, everybody broke for lunch, and we she and I were standing in that lady's parlor talking about what had happened. And this thing, this amoeba shaped, three-dimensional object that was not a shadow, came across the ceiling and then disappeared between the chandelier and the ceiling. And it happened
Oh.
twice. And I have never in my life seen anything like that, nor have I ever seen it since. And we both stood there and went like that, it was like nervous. You know what I
A
mean?
gap.
Like
Yeah, mouth agape.
well, like, did you take a picture? Like, no, I'm sitting there like squinting, blinking my eyes. Am I really seeing this kind of thing? Right.
Oh,
So
wow.
so Julie says, take out your recorder, see if they talk to you. So I pulled out my recorder and I said, did we just see you? And the voice said, yes. Just like that, clear whisper.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
That's
So I
crazy.
was thinking, Houston, we have a problem. I did. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what the story is, but I don't like it. I mean, it was okay at first. It was a little humorous, kind of cool, but this is not cool. And I don't want this all the time in my house, everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
I
totally
go
get it.
home and I'm sitting there kind of like doom scrolling on Facebook, as we do. And there was a group from Rhode Island that was on a paranormal investigation. And I know who they are. I mean, they're not like super close, but I knew who they were. And then you can see how there's other people, right, in the chat
Right.
watching with you, right? So I'm looking, oh, this one's there, this one's this. So they got this little chat going, and we're kind of chatting back and forth. And they have their spirit box out, and they were outside. They were in the middle of the woods. It was a place in Rhode Island that was known to have. There was a massacre there during the King Philip War, where the Navy
Mhm.
and the whatever the soldiers or whatever. But anyway, you can hear the voice come through. Where's Scott?
Oh my
And I'm not even there. I'm at home and I'm just watching. And one of the guys says, "Oh, he's not here. Who's this?" "This is David." And you can hear him, "David, David, David." Like people are texting me, "Did you hear that? That's David." I'm like, "Oh, I can't even anymore." So that was
You're
the moment
haunted. You're being haunted by
I
this
was being
David.
haunted. And it's funny because if you would laugh if you could hear the message I left for this medium that I had I had met her once, just once, and I didn't even really know her name. I knew her first name, but I didn't know how to spell it. It's sort of an odd name with an odd spelling. So I'm looking through like people that I know that might know her, and then I found it. I said, "Son of a gun, she's on Facebook." So I wrote to her, and it was this long-winded, "I don't know if you remember me. I have this spirit after me." We would talk, that's exactly what I said. "I don't know what's going on." And she says, "Well, let's talk." So I called her. And the funny thing is with her, she's not a working medium. She works through
Really?
she's gifted, but she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want any part of it. And she was one that they actually locked in a mental ward.
Now that I wouldn't do.
No, because they thought she was crazy. She was hearing voices and all the stuff
Oh,
that I
you
was.
mean Oh, they locked her in because of her
Because
hearing, not that she locked her in to do a paranormal experiment. I was
no, no,
confused.
no, 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 no. She doesn't even want anything to do with the paranormal, really. She has nothing to do with it. She just I just happened to meet her. It was just, you know,
Wow.
by good fortune, I guess, because I don't know who else I would have called. But she told me, she's, "Yeah, they thought I was crazy." So she confirmed for me not to let people know what was going on because it didn't work well for her. It probably wouldn't work well for,
Right.
but there were people that knew, people that I had befriended, and I had recordings. So I was playing the recordings for her like this, and she says, "That is so strange." So then she starts, like, trying to tune in psychically to what I'm getting.
Mhm.
She's thinking, "Look, I think this guy just wants to be crossed over. I think he's just kinda stuck," and, you know, like, I don't know, like, "Well, why is he coming to me?" "You'd be a better fit for that than I am." Like, I don't, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
But we got together, and I didn't, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really believe it. I mean, I was thinking, like, "This is crazy." You know what I mean? She's telling me I'm a medium. I'm telling her that's not true. There's no way. And then she says, "We need to cross him over." And I'm like, "How are you gonna cross somebody like, I was completely, like,
D
just nothing. Like, I had nothing. I had
you hadn't been trained. You had no idea, and
nothing.
what it all meant to begin with probably
And I
too,
thought it was
you
all
know?
woo-woo, all woo-woo. You know what I mean? I
And you were
did
not in the woo. You were not
I was
invited.
not.
You were
I
not the
was not.
woo.
I was not. No, and I remember I went and saw Lisa Williams on stage. I've seen Sylvia Brown. I had seen I
Mhm.
don't yeah, well, I saw John Holland with Sylvia Brown, so I had seen him at the time. But I didn't know. I mean, I remember thinking, like, "Well, what do they see?" So in my
Mhm.
imagination, I'm thinking, well, they see dead people lined up in the grocery store, and then you go in to get the Cheerios, and you ask them, "Excuse me, Mr. Dead Person, could you move so I could grab my Rice Krispies?" And then you take them off the
Yeah.
shelf. No, that's what I thought it was, but it's not like that. It's
Mm-mm.
so much more
It
subtle
isn't.
and nuanced. So when it happened, I didn't recognize it, and it took another year and a half of convincing me from her that no, this is it. And she got this
So
shop
she was trying to get you to open up finally and understand your
to
gift.
understand and believe and trust that
Yeah.
this is what it was,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "But
Yeah.
why now?" So, and that was the thing too, like, "Why now? I thought you were born with this." You know what I mean? I thought it was a gift you were
Mm-mm.
born with, but, it doesn't have to be. I didn't have a near-death experience. I was never there was none of that stuff, so it just didn't feel right to me. But I met this woman on the Cape who's a shaman. She kind of walked me through it, and I thought she was crazy because I thought she was nuts, but she helped me, and
I
then
love it.
it stopped. Like, we were able to set boundaries and set, so that it wasn't just happening, like, in my car, in my house, at the restaurant.
Right. Rando.
It doesn't
Random.
happen like that anymore. It's well, and it happens when I turn it on, it happens. You know what I mean? When I
Right. The
allow it.
switch is up,
Yeah. When I
doors
allow
open. Come
that's
on in.
when I allow it, it happens, and when I don't, it doesn't. But that was the story, and that's how I found out, and, it was really, kind of a and David, I
Did you ever figure out who David was?
I did. It's in my book. I wrote about that because I started making notes about all the different things that were happening to me, not thinking they would be a book, but it's like people were saying, "You gotta write this down because if you don't, you'll never remember every little detail."
I think your story is compelling. Complete. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I have to get your book now. I got to read your book. I haven't read your book
I
yet.
know.
So,
Well, I'm gonna bring them to Colorado, so I'll have one for you. But,
okay.
it's funny because the book is called "In the Presence of Light: A Funeral Director's Journey from Mourning, Mourning, to Mediumship," is it really was how I went from one to the other, and so it's the growing up and understanding some of the synchronicities that happened younger in my life were really probably a sign, and then there was the funeral business, then there was the haunting, and then there was after that, and all the stuff that yeah. So it's an interesting book, but that's not a sales pitch. It's just it ended up becoming a book because I had so many notes.
So, how long have you been doing this work now since you opened up? How long has it been?
Oh god. I would say, like, since I accepted it and fully embraced
Mhm.
it, maybe 5 years,
Wow.
that's it. But at that point, it was like, "Okay, I'm not charging anything for readings. I'm just doing them because I wanna see what I can do," you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I went to Scotland, a couple of maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, and they asked me to do a demonstration at this castle. But it was
Mm.
it was it was with the tour group. It was all when I say friends,
Right.
people that were it was not
Yeah.
an outside group.
Yeah.
us. But I said, sure. There were like 50, 60 of us. So I did. And, and I said, and I made sure they understood that I was not promising anything. Like I don't stand up in front of people and
You
do
had
this
you had
stuff.
your disclaimer going on.
I had a disclaimer, and oh no, 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 we're all friends, but that would be fun. And it was crazy. You know how it is. You just get one thing for another thing for another thing, and it was
Mhm, I
so.
get it.
And when people resonated with it, I thought, oh my god. Even to the point, this is really funny too, and I'll share this with you because I remember being there and said, okay, last row, I've got this young couple, boy and girl. He died first, she died second in the hospital, but he was instant in the accident. And the woman sitting in that row said, yeah, that's my niece, and that was my nephew and his girlfriend.
Oh.
But I was in the exact I was, like, right I knew where they were, and then I kinda lost that, and now here I am again. I feel like that's something that's coming back, like, I know
Mm.
where I am. I don't always know I'm with that person, but I know I'm, like, right here, you know?
I just think it's really a trust thing, and, I'd like to tell the audience too is how we met was, we both met through Joe Sheil's mentoring program, and Joe Sheil is a beautiful spirit artist, great teacher,
Yeah.
um, great reverend, and he's at thejourneywithin.org. It's a
I love
church
when you
in,
say that
it's
too, the reverend, and I mean it.
yeah,
Not to cut you
yeah,
off. Don't you think it's great that
no,
there are people in this work that
mhm,
are connected? Because a lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, you're really talking to the devil." Well,
yeah, no, we're not.
we're not.
It's always about healing, and the thing I love about Joe is that he really holds mediumship in high esteem and sacredness. And that is how I've always felt it to be because it's a healing process. I've always been a healer and my gifts are was hands-on healing through healing touch and Reiki, but then I went into my psychic ability was always there. But my mediumship, I find just as much healing as doing some physical balancing work of the energetic body. It's you can see the shift in people when you're doing mediumship. And so you and I met through that. And
Yeah.
I love, we had, I think, about 30 of us in this class from all over the world. And I took Joe's class to learn more about spirit art because I was moving into it. And when I watched you work, I was like, okay, that guy knows what he's doing. I loved it.
Had you full. I didn't mind.
I
It was like
don't think
chaos.
so. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty good at knowing my she. And oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
I
we don't
think it
do
was a
that.
trust thing. It really was a trust thing for me. I didn't feel like I had anything going on at the time, but I think it was
Well, I mean, you've been rocking your world for the last, I watch all your bookings and your promos and it's, you're up and down the East Coast. My belief is that your gifts are just going to grow and your command of the stage is amazing. And that's what I like. Cause I like to work with people
yeah.
who have humor in their ability to read because I don't like to forget the F word fun. And I think, platform mediumship reading has to be fun as much as it is touching. And Scott, you have that ability. It's amazing. And the other side of it too is I want to always work with somebody who's professional, and you very much are. Because I like to draw the spirit, but I can't just sit there and draw a spirit while I'm working by myself. So I always love to have another medium. Two mediums are better than one, is what I say.
Now what do? You draw
And
while I'm reading? Is that what it is? You're drawing
yeah,
you like the next one, in other words, for you.
I'm drawing like I will always start with a drawing before I even step on stage. Who's the first spirit coming in? I'm going to draw this person.
Yeah.
And so while I'm bringing that energy in of the person, we're getting introduced. And then what happens is I'll bring the person in, I'll talk about them, tell them all about what I'm getting and who's validated through evidence. And then I hand them the picture at the end. And I love to watch the camera always captures their face like,
Yeah.
oh,
True.
it's about capturing the essence. I am not an artist. I am just a person who can draw enough to capture the beautiful essence of the soul of the person I am talking to. And I think that's such beautiful proof. So I think the two of us working together is going to be a really fun experience. We are also working in doing Castle Rock, a show in Castle Rock at a beautiful friend's house that she has a healing studio in her basement.
Yeah.
And
So
that'll
it's
be a
not her
fun. And
private
it's
home that we're going into, just so
it
people
is her
that's
private home, but she rocks it with her business. She's also
what I
she
mean. Yeah.
teaches Teresa Hernandez. I think that's her last name. She has a beautiful retail shop in her home, along with She has a retail shop also in Castle Rock, and she also has a meditation center down in her, basement, which is the energy there is beautiful. And doing the antlers will be fun because it is haunted, so I always feel it opens up the, energy, in general, and, it's gonna be a fabulous show. And you've never been to Colorado. Have you ever been
Eh,
this side of the Rockies?
well, I've been to California. I've just never been to actually, that's not true. I landed in Denver for about an hour.
Ah, that doesn't count. That
We
doesn't
were
count.
just at the airport. Wasn't anything exciting, but yeah. I've never been, I can't.
So oh, you're gonna love it. First off, everybody says it is a stunning place to live, has great energy, a lot of spiritual people live here. My work, I always say too, is, there is a lot of religious, but I love Jesus, so I mean, I bring him in as I do my work. And,
I'm gonna tell you
a
that
lot of
story. I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
tell you
feel
the story. But go ahead.
tell a story. I love stories. Tell me the
Well, I
story.
feel the same way. I feel the same way. I had an event in Rhode Island, I don't know, it's probably going back a few weeks now. And I'm on my way and I'm driving down 95 from Massachusetts into Rhode Island. And there's a car in front of me and it says, there's a bumper sticker on the back and it says, honk if you love Jesus. And I thought, oh, what the heck? Why? Yeah, I'm heading to an event. Sure, I'll honk. You know what I mean? Like, let's bring it in. And I honked and she gave me the finger. But here's the thing. It's not really about that. It's not about that. It's really about, I think, spirit. We talked about it. Spirit has a sense of humor. It
Oh,
does
absolutely.
not have to be all doom and gloom. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So I don't mean to cut you off, but as soon as you
No,
said
but
Jesus, I
I
was
I
like, I got
love
to bring it in. I couldn't bring it in because it was so funny. But
I
yeah,
had, I always when I'm going to a group event, I look at the license plates because that's where my signs and symbols come in. One time I was, driving to a group event and, license plate said Ghostbuster. And I'm, like, looking going,
really,
"Oh my god." Yeah. It was GHSTBSTR or something, and I'm like, "Oh my god." I took a picture of it,
what?
and then one was every time not every time, but a lot of times I asked for signs and symbols. It's funny, I was at another group event I was doing, and no one was there yet, so I'm in the parking lot by myself prepping because you always go into a meditation, and I'm just kinda there in my soft spot, and, it's a daytime event, and all of a sudden I hear this, and that knock comes on. I'm like, "Oh, they're here." I open up my eyes, I look, no one there, and
What?
I knew it was a male energy. I'm like, "Oh, you wanna be first out the gate, don't you?" And I started
Who brought
laughing.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the signs and symbols. I think it's important. If you guys are looking to come see us work together, and be in awe of spirit, Clear Channel, it's going to be November 6th at the Antlers, downtown Colorado Springs. Um, and it's at 6:30. The doors open at 6. Premier seating and regular seating. Meet and greet for the premieres. So we only have so many limited seats. So don't wait to get your ticket. Get it now. The other side of it too is we're going to be doing Castle Rock, and that'll be another show, and it's going to be a small sitting venue. So there's only going to be 20. And I am still looking for another place to do a third show because Scott's going to be here at least 3 days.
Yeah.
So if you guys have know of anybody or know of anyone who would like to sponsor us to come in, we'd love that too. Um, I just think it's going to be a fun thing. You're also Scott. I want to ask you another thing: is what TV shows or paranormal shows have you been filming? Because I know you've been doing that too.
Yeah. So I am on season 1 and season 2 of a show called Dark Echoes. It's on Amazon and
What's it called again?
Dark Echoes.
Oh, Dark Echoes.
Basically, it's just it was, they just drop you down into a haunted place and what do you see, feel, think, that kind of thing. And so I did that for season 1 and season 2. I am not going to be coming back for season 3 because I feel like all of this mediumship is just kind of it's
Mhm.
I'm going in a different direction. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of growing and I know that it's growing and I don't want to have to be committed to, oh geez, I can't be here because I've got to be filming that weekend. It was a great experience and I love the people that I worked with, but I'm happy to pull away. So I did pull away for season 3, but you can watch it.
I will put that in the memo because we do have a lot of paranormal people here because we have a lot of hauntings here. It's an old town. I'm doing a bus tour on October 25th. It's a daytime bus tour of Evergreen Cemetery, which is our oldest cemetery. And there's a lot of history in Colorado Springs. And so, I just think at the paranormal, I've done homes, I've cleared homes. Um, that's not my specialty anymore. I still do them for my clients who need it, but I always hand that off to my partner who I work with, Rachel Ortega. She's amazing at clearing homes. Trained her, and but I really feel it's going to be a fabulous show. I really would love you all to come see us work together. It'll be a fun event. And we're going to bring in the sacredness of mediumship, explain the work as we work. I love the stories we get to tell along the way. And I mean, I'm always, it's funny, like you said, you're always surprised. I'm always surprised about the
Always.
messages and how they happen. And I'm like, I'm just as odd as the sitter is. I'm like, how did that just happen? And I'm odd in my own whatever shows up. It's just, wow.
Well,
And
and it's
our
true because sometimes, I mean, I know for me, something's coming out of my mouth, and as I'm saying it, I'm thinking like, where's this coming from? Like, I don't even know why I'm saying it. You know what I mean?
Because we're actually out of our bodies and allowing the channel to be the pure channel we are. So
Right.
we're hearing it from outside, like you're stepping in another room and you're hearing
Right.
it and you're like, what's going on? And you just are,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
It's
this really, I
funny.
mean, it's so funny.
It is
And
fun.
it's funny. Well, I tell my clients too, I go, if you think I'm going to remember your last reading, I don't. I don't have the privilege or the want to know what I said to you last time. But if it worked out great, I love it. And so they always remind me, and I go, I guess you're back, so it must have been pretty good. And but it's funny because we don't remember what we say unless it's something very amazing. And we are supposed to remember that to tell more people and to let people, death is not death. Our souls live on. They get to tell us how we're doing in life, and they're our biggest cheerleaders, our loved ones up there. So, do you have anything else to say before we sign off today?
No, I just can't wait. I'm really.
I
It's
know.
only like a little over a month away. I'm so looking forward to it.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun, and, you never know what the weather is gonna be. Colorado Springs, anything in Colorado, it's a joke. If you're tired of the weather, just wait 5 minutes, it'll be gone. It'll be changing again.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping we have a beautiful night, no snow, knock on wood, and, I recommend everybody to start booking their tickets in. We have, already have sales going on, and we have limited seating.
Where can they get them?
Um They can go to Eventbrite and, I'll post a flyer that you can, QR scan, but Eventbrite has this event, and it's, let's see, $60 for the premiere, 45 for the regular seating, and, I think it'll be a very beautiful night of information, messages, end of light is what I'm seeing. And
Mm,
I'm always pretty good at predicting the future in small ways. So
go. Beautiful. Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Me
Yeah, me
too.
too.
Well, thanks for having me,
Okay.
Tom. I appreciate it. This is wonderful.
Oh, I haven't done a podcast in so long, so this is a fun time. I'm going to start doing them again. I'm going to start interviewing other mediums and talking about how they work. Because I think people should understand mediumship in a way that it is sacred. And the people I invite along the way are always of the light. And that's the most important. Keep your light on, kids, because right now we need it. And our light will always keep us bright and protected. So, with that, Scott, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you talking to me and Carm out.